Comic Boom.
Hey guys, Comic Boom here to review Batman issue 83, and this issue is beautifully illustrated by Janin. I'm telling you, this is a beautifully drawn issue. Now, it's written by Tom King, of course, and, you know, I'm not going to go into, at least not in that much detail in terms of my ongoing criticisms of Tom King's narrative, other than to say that for this particular issue, this is a gut-wrenching issue. This is intended to be an emotional issue because this is the issue where Batman wakes up after being shot by Flashpoint Batman last issue, after fighting Bane, and he wakes up and he discovers that Alfred is dead, and it's a gut-wrenching issue. Now, I would have preferred that this entire issue did not have any narration. This would have worked. Janin's art is so powerful here. It's so I love his art. The emotion that Batman shows even through his mask of seeing Alfred dead before him. He wakes up at the dining room table in Wayne Manor, and he's seated at one end, and Alfred is seated at the other, you know, dead. I mean, he must be smelling by now. He's a rotting corpse. Does anybody seem to be fine? But he's obviously dead. His neck has been snapped by Bane, and you know, the emotion that Batman shows, as beautifully illustrated by Janin, just does it really works. So I full props here to Janin from an emotional standpoint in terms of conveying all that you can convey visually. I thought Janin's art was really, really good here. Now, in terms of the story itself, now the narration in this story starts off with narration. Tom King, as he often does, utilizes a reference. He references another poem, yet another poem. He's done this in the past, and then he references another poem, and this time he references a poem by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. I had to look it up. It's called The Children's Hour. And basically, the Children's Hour is the time in the evening where the children gather around in their father's study to spend time with him before going to bed. It is their hour. And Children's Hour is, the way the poem reads, it's essentially a father saying that he's having fun with his daughters, and he loves the way they're pretending that they're going to capture him, and they're being playful with him. It's three daughters, and he wants to lock his daughters within the chambers of his heart. And you know, you can draw your analogies there to the relationship between Batman and Alfred. That Alfred thinks that obviously, Bruce has a chamber in his heart, and that just like there's a period during the children's hour late at night when the children finally get to play with their father, who is a very busy person, Alfred also, through Bruce, Alfred only really gets to maybe bond with Bruce, his son, so to speak, late hours in the late hours of the evening whenever he's done being Batman, and that's really how that relationship sort of develops. But it goes, the poem itself, the Longfellow poem itself, I think works well with the narrative that Tom King writes for Alfred in this issue, because Alfred obviously talks about how much he loves Bruce, how much he's always there for Bruce. He talks about how he saw a different side of Bruce, a welcome side, a happier side, when Bruce was on the rooftop with Selina. And he references back to issue 1 of Tom King's run, where Batman thinks he's going to die, and he's steering the 747 into Gotham Harbor, and Batman asks Alfred, you know, was this a good death? Would my parents be proud, essentially? And Alfred making it clear that, you know, I'm proud of you. You're amazing. And Alfred also makes it clear to him that Alfred lied to him. Alfred lied to him, which we know from past issues. Alfred did indeed lie to him. When Alfred told him that he had escaped Bane, he had, of course, not escaped. And Alfred was aware that he was likely going to die, and that Flashpoint Batman would likely kill him. But he nonetheless lied to Batman because he knew that at the end of the day, Batman would win the day, as he always does. So Alfred has that love that a father has for a son. And as alluded to in the poem by Longfellow, Bruce forever is captured in the chamber of Alfred's heart. And so in that respect, if you really, I had to Google. I'm not pretending to have some poetic intelligence here. I had to have the poem sort of explained to me a little bit. I had to Wikipedia it, and now when I reread the poem, I have a greater appreciation as to what it means in the context of the story here, and I think it works. This was a nice issue. Now I say that again, divorced from the larger narrative. I will say that just as a one-shot story, I think just as it's a beautifully drawn issue, and it's touching. It references a nice poem, and it's touching words from Alfred that are being spoken to Bruce. Now, it's not clear when Bruce is actually listening. It seems to be a recording that Bruce might be listening to, but clearly I'm not sure if it's playing on an intercom system or how Bruce is actually hearing it, because the issue is consists of Batman waking up at the table. He's in full costume. He's healed. He's not injured, so he wasn't shot. Clearly, he wasn't shot by a bullet. He's not injured, and ultimately he roams around Wayne Manor. He finds Catwoman, and Catwoman, who's under the influence of Psychopirate, leads him into a den where all the villains are located, and they're all in the same room with Flashpoint Batman sitting on the couch. Thomas Wayne, he's not dressed as Flashpoint Batman. He's just as Thomas Wayne, and he's confronting Bruce, saying, "Are you done yet? Is it done?" Thomas Wayne wants to know, "Are you done being Batman? Because enough is enough." Thomas Wayne is obsessed with Bruce's obsession of being Batman. So there's two obsessions here. Thomas Wayne is obsessed with Bruce Wayne, his son, being obsessed with being Batman, and he wants to get rid of Bruce's obsession of being Batman. He wants to get it out of him. And apparently he thought killing Alfred would do that. Now, I still don't believe the nonsense that Alfred is dead, but I guess they're going to be going with that, so at least they can say Tom King's, run had a point. But in any event, you got to buy that. Alfred apparently is dead, and Thomas Wayne killed Alfred for that very specific purpose, to help ram the point home to Bruce that, look what you've done. Look what your obsession has done. I don't know what his obsession has done. Thomas Wayne, I don't understand Flashpoint Batman here. He's completely psychotic. He's more psychotic. He wasn't this psychotic when he was in his own universe. We're gonna find out next issue. What the secret of Thomas Wayne. What brought him to our world? Why did he have this ridiculous obsession? Why is he using Psychopirate? Well, we know why he's using Psychopirate, but I'm actually more curious now, because Thomas Wayne's been bastardized beyond recognition. So there's no way you can put the lipstick back on the pig of the character of Thomas Wayne. You'll never convince me that that's Thomas Wayne. Not for a second. So that ship will have sailed. I'm more curious as to know what the powers of Psychopirate are. What are how did he get control of Psychopirate? How is he controlling Psychopirate? What exactly are the powers of Psychopirate? Is he a master of illusion? Is he a master of controlling minds? Because I'm wondering if it was the fight between Batman and Bane one massive illusion. Batman, Bane, and Catwoman, was that all an illusion? Because Catwoman seemed to have been grievously injured last issue when they fought. Batman and Bane were both shot by Thomas Wayne. All the members of the Bat family appeared to be, arguably, they looked dead. They looked like Thomas Wayne had killed the members of the Bat family. Remember, he defeated all 7 members of the Bat family, nonsensically, fighting much, much greater than his skill set would suggest that we know about Flashpoint Batman. So there's a lot of questions here. Exactly, what is the power set of Thomas Wayne? What are his secrets? How did he come to this universe? That's going to be revealed next issue. I have a feeling Psychopirate is still going to be left a question mark. But in any event, this particular issue was just Batman discovering that Alfred was dead. A lot of emotional moments told through a Longfellow poem called The Children's Hour, and Alfred just reiterating something that we've known for quite some time, that Alfred loves Bruce and always will and will always be in his heart, and he knows that Batman now has got to get things done. And it ends with Batman confronting Thomas Wayne, saying, "All right, let's get this done. One last fight. Let's do it again. Only, for Alfred. One more time for Alfred." Because Batman makes it clear to Flashpoint Batman, you're not, am I done? I'm not done. And I'm not going to stop. I never stop. I never give up, just like you don't. And we're going to get this done. We're going to have one last fight for Alfred. And so next issue, presumably, is going to be their big brawl, one would imagine. I'm paraphrasing the words here, but it really is not all that important. This was an issue where, if you've been with us so far, if you've been if you've been with Tom King so far in this narrative, this was definitely a pivotal moment issue to pick up. And even if you haven't, even myself, again, while I'm not a big fan of the Tom King narrative, I do appreciate the fantastic art, and I appreciate this story for how it was, and at least Tom King made a token attempt to try to fit it in to his narrative. He tried to tie it back into issue 1, where Batman was steering the 747 into Gotham Harbor, asking Alfred if this is a good death, ties it into the wedding. He's trying to tie it all in, and whether or not you think that works, that's going to be up to individual readers. I thought it wasn't bad overall. Again, you can look at my past videos to know of my ongoing criticism of what Tom King has done. But at the end of the day, I thought this issue did a reasonably good job of at least conveying fantastic art and the emotion and focusing on the relationship between Alfred and Batman. And the poem itself, I never had an appreciation for until I Wikipedia'd it, but I have a greater appreciation for what Tom King was going for, even if it doesn't necessarily lead me to give it a super high score. I will say, art-wise, I would give this a 9 out of 10. Narratively, for what it is, almost like a standalone story. This could almost be a standalone story. As a standalone story, I would actually give this probably a 7 out of 10. But as part of the larger narrative, it's so deeply unsatisfying as part of the larger narrative, I'd give it a 3 out of 10. But if that makes any sense. But it does make sense you've been following my videos this far. Guys, tell me what you think of Batman issue 83. I think you got to come back for issue 84, because the secret of Flashpoint Batman, I got to know what the secrets are. Even though Tom King doesn't respect continuity, I still got to know. You know what I'm saying? In any event, guys, tell me what you think. Hit the subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter, Metropolis40. Leave a comment below, and until next time, Comic Boom, out.